You fall asleep believing you're doing something good for your body, resting, recovering, recharging. But what if the very act of lying down in your favorite position has been quietly betraying your heart for decades, especially now after 50, when your body no longer recovers the way it used to, and every nightly habit, even something as innocent as your sleeping posture, carries consequences you can't afford to ignore. You've trusted sleep as your sanctuary, your escape from the stresses of the day. But what if the way you sleep is actually creating a hidden kind of stress? One your body absorbs without complaint, one that wears down your cardiovascular system with such subtlety that you don't notice it until the signs become too loud to ignore. Waking up tired after a full night's rest. Shortness of breath that creeps in as you rise. A racing heartbeat in the dark, or that silent pressure you feel on your chest. Not panic, not pain. Just heaviness, and before you chalk it up to age, to stress, to a bad night, you need to understand something your doctor may never have mentioned. Your sleeping position affects your heart more than you think, and one side in particular, yes, the right side you've always favored, could be quietly making your heart work harder every single night. Not in dramatic bursts, but in a slow grinding resistance that accumulates over the years, turning rest into wear and ease into silent strain. It begins with anatomy. Your heart leans left in your chest cavity, and when you lie on your right side, your entire body weight shifts toward that heart, pressing into it from the opposite side. And while it doesn't feel like much inside your rib cage, that gentle shift can compress the vena cava, the major vein that returns blood from your lower body to your heart, forcing your circulatory system to work against gravity in the quiet hours when it should be resting, and over time. That effort adds up, especially if you already have risk factors like high blood pressure, diabetes, or a history of heart conditions, because as your tissues age and your vessels stiffen, even small disruptions in blood flow or chest expansion become exaggerated, and what once was harmless becomes a nightly tax your heart can't afford to keep paying. And yet most people never think about their sleep position because no one ever told them to. You were taught about cholesterol, about sugar, about the importance of walking, but not once were you told that your heart's performance overnight depends on where you place your body, and by the time symptoms start to surface, fatigue, dizziness upon waking, interrupted breathing during sleep. They've already been building for years, hidden beneath the quiet rhythm of your sleep cycle, and every night you roll to your right, your body remembers. Think about it: when you lie on your right side, gravity pushes your abdominal organs toward the left, putting slight but constant pressure on your heart, which has to push harder to maintain circulation. Your diaphragm, which controls your breath, has less room to move freely, which means your lungs can't fully expand, and the oxygen your body needs to repair overnight gets reduced, not dramatically, but enough to matter, especially over thousands of nights. That oxygen shortfall doesn't cause pain. It causes gradual decline, a slower brain in the morning, a foggy feeling that you blame on age but may actually be your cells begging for air. And your heart, that quiet engine, begins to beat faster just to keep up. And when that happens night after night, it becomes conditioned to operate in a state of mild overdrive, something so subtle that it escapes most tests until it's too late, until you need medication, until your heart rhythm becomes irregular, and then the doctors ask you about stress, diet, exercise, but not about how you've slept for the past 30 years. It's not just about pressure, it's about blood return, about oxygenation, about your nervous system's ability to enter deep parasympathetic states, the kind of rest that allows healing, not just unconsciousness. Because when you're curled on your right side, your vagus nerve, the master regulator of rest and digestion, gets less stimulation. Your heart doesn't slow down as much. Your digestion doesn't process as deeply. Your immune system doesn't repair as fully. And all of that happens quietly night after night in a routine you never questioned, in a habit you thought was harmless. And here's where it gets even more serious. If you're over 50, your body's resilience is different than it was in your 30s. The systems that used to compensate automatically your blood pressure regulation, your oxygen buffering, your heart rate recovery are all slightly diminished now. Not broken, but less forgiving, which means what was once tolerable is now potentially damaging. The margin for error shrinks with age, and what you use to recover from overnight might now be a burden that accumulates silently. Still think your sleep position doesn't matter. Consider this: studies have shown that patients with congestive heart failure experience significantly more discomfort and worsen symptoms when lying on their right side. Why? Because the pressure makes it harder for a weakened heart to do its job. But this isn't just about people with diagnosed conditions. It's about prevention, about catching the little things before they become irreversible. Because the truth is, your body will try to adapt for as long as it can, hiding symptoms until adaptation turns into strain, and strain turns into damage. And by the time you notice, it's not about posture anymore, it's about recovery. What if you didn't wait until then? What if tonight you became aware, not fearful, but intentional of how your body rests? What if you started to see your sleep posture not as a mindless routine, but as a choice, a tool, a signal to your heart that says, I hear you, I'm listening, I'm willing to shift. Because awareness is the beginning of transformation, and if you're still reading this, your body is still asking you to care. Not in panic, but in partnership. And it's not just your heart that benefits from change. Your lungs breathe deeper, your brain detoxes more efficiently, your digestive system calms, your nervous system slows, all because your body's no longer working against its own design. All because you rolled a few inches in the direction your anatomy was built to support. If you've ever felt that your mornings are slower, heavier, and harder than they should be, if your breath feels shallow or your thoughts foggy before that first sip of coffee, you may have blamed age, stress, or poor sleep. But what if the real issue is gravity? And what if simply shifting the side you sleep on could begin to reverse years of accumulated fatigue, cardiovascular strain, and brain fog? That's the promise hidden in left side sleeping. Not a miracle, not a cure-all, but a gentle, anatomical alignment with how your body's designed to function at its best. You were never told that your sleep position could influence how your heart beats, how your brain drains toxins, or how your stomach processes the final meal of the day. But now that you know, it's time to pay attention, because the left side is not just another option, it is a position of relief, restoration, and long overlooked healing. Start with the heart. Your heart isn't just a pump, it's a muscle in motion, and every movement it makes must overcome the forces pressing against it. When you lie on your left side, gravity helps, not hinders. The heart hangs more freely in the chest cavity. The lungs on the right side, slightly larger, can expand more fully, allowing oxygen to circulate efficiently. The inferior vena cava, that essential vein, returning blood to the heart, now works with the pull of gravity, easing the burden of circulation during the hours your body is supposed to repair. You may not feel that shift directly, but your cardiovascular system does. And over time, that reduced resistance at night means lower resting heart rate, deeper breathing, more stable blood pressure, and an easier workload for a heart that's already seen decades of effort. But the advantages of left side sleeping don't end there. If you suffer from acid reflux, or even if you don't, but experience unexplained coughing, sore throat, or hoarseness in the morning, your sleeping position might be to blame. Your stomach lies on the left side of your abdomen, and when you lie on your left, gravity keeps the stomach contents in place, helping prevent stomach acid from backing up into the esophagus. When you lie on your right, the opposite happens. The angle encourages acid to travel upward, especially if your lower esophageal sphincter is weak, which is more common with age. That means more inflammation, more damage, and more nighttime awakenings. You may not remember, but your body absolutely does. That's why people who shift to left side sleeping often report reduced heartburn, fewer midnight wake-ups, and a clearer throat in the morning. And here's something most people over 50 have never even heard of: the glymphatic system. This is your brain's personal waste removal crew. While you sleep, your brain cells actually shrink to make room for cerebrospinal fluid to wash through and clear out toxins, proteins, and debris that, if left to accumulate, have been linked to cognitive decline and neurodegenerative conditions. This process doesn't happen during the day. It's sleep-dependent, and it's position-sensitive. Research suggests that lying on your left side allows more efficient clearance of waste through the glymphatic pathways. That means better memory consolidation, clearer thoughts, reduced risk of neuroinflammation, and all from choosing the right side of your body to rest on. There's also a profound connection between left side sleeping and your lymphatic system. The thoracic duct, the body's main lymph vessel, lies predominantly on the left. This duct is responsible for transporting lymph fluid that carries immune cells, proteins, and waste back into the bloodstream. When you sleep on your left, you align with the natural direction of lymphatic drainage, promoting better detoxification overnight. For seniors dealing with inflammation, autoimmune conditions, or chronic fatigue, this simple shift can have surprisingly wide-reaching benefits. You may be wondering if this is all true. Why hasn't anyone told me this before? Why didn't my doctor mention it? Why isn't this part of every wellness checklist for people in their 60s and 70s? The answer is both simple and frustrating because it's too simple. There's no pill to prescribe for posture, no device to sell for side sleeping, no profit in telling people to roll over. And yet the body doesn't care about profits. It cares about physics, about pressure, about flow. And if left side sleeping supports your anatomy better, then that is the side your body will thank you for in ways both subtle and significant. But making this change isn't just about flipping onto your left and calling it a night. Your body needs support, especially if you've been sleeping one way for decades. It needs cues, structure, and encouragement to adopt a new rhythm. That's why the next phase is about building a sleep environment that makes left side rest not only possible, but pleasurable. And it starts with the mindset that your sleep is not passive, it's participatory. You're not just lying down. You're aligning yourself with better function, better circulation, and better healing. If you begin to sleep on your left tonight, your heart will notice. Your stomach will notice. Your brain will begin clearing itself more effectively. Your immune system will shift into a more efficient drainage mode. And in the quiet hours of night where change often goes unnoticed, you'll be laying the groundwork for better mornings, stronger energy, and a heart that finally gets the rest it deserves. Now that you understand why left-side sleeping can dramatically benefit your heart, digestion, brain, and immune system, the next challenge becomes very personal. How do you change a habit that your body has practiced for decades, night after night, often without your conscious awareness? It's not enough to simply say, "Tonight I'll sleep on my left." Because while the decision may be made with intention, your body, especially while unconscious, will default to familiarity. So if your default is the right side, or even worse, the back, you'll likely wake up mid-morning in the same position you swore not to return to. That's why changing your sleep posture requires more than discipline. It requires environment, routine, reinforcement, and comfort. Start with your sleep environment. Most people underestimate how much their bed pillow and room setup affects sleep behavior. If your bedside table light switch or water glass is on the right side of the bed, your brain associates that direction with ease. Change it. Move your necessities to the left side. Rearrange the lamp. Place your phone charger on the left. Even this subtle change sends a visual cue. This side is safe. This side is mine. Your brain begins to process this long before your body falls asleep. Next, upgrade your physical comfort. A firm pillow that supports your neck without tilting your head upward is crucial. You want spinal alignment, not neck strain. If your head tilts too far down or up while on your left side, your body will instinctively roll away during the night. Invest in a pillow specifically designed for side sleepers. These often have a contoured cut that keeps your head level and reduces pressure on your shoulders. But the real game changer, a full body pillow. Place it in front of your torso and legs. Hug it with your top arm and wedge your top leg over it. This creates a feeling of grounded stability, preventing your hips from twisting and keeping your spine in a straight line. With this setup, your body is less likely to roll onto your back or right side. If you're someone who tends to curl into a fetal position, this also helps elongate your posture and keep your chest open, essential for optimal breathing and circulation. Now consider your lower body. A small pillow between your knees is another critical tool. It maintains pelvic alignment and prevents knee-on-knee pressure, which can cause micro discomfort and trigger movement during sleep. That movement is often the very moment your body shifts away from the left side and slips into its old habits. Lighting matters too. Begin winding down for sleep on your left side, even while reading or scrolling through your phone. This pre-sleep positioning builds neurological association. Your brain learns we wind down this way. Over time, that conditioning becomes reflex. Temperature can help as well. Keep your room cool, ideally between 60 and 67 degrees Fahrenheit. Cooler temperatures support deeper sleep and reduce the likelihood of tossing and turning, which helps maintain your chosen sleep position throughout the night. And then there's the power of breath. Before bed, lie on your left side and do 3 to 5 minutes of deep diaphragmatic breathing. Place one hand on your belly and the other on your chest. Inhale slowly through your nose. feeling your lower hand rise. Exhale even more slowly through your mouth. This does two things. It calms your vagus nerve, signaling your body it's safe to sleep, and it reinforces the posture with a sense of comfort and relaxation. You're creating a new association. Left side equals calm, safety, peace. Don't expect perfection on the first night. Your body will fight you at first, not because it's stubborn, but because it's deeply conditioned. This is about reprogramming a pattern built over decades. Some nights you'll wake up on your right side. That's okay. Just notice it, gently roll to your left and return to rest. The more you do this, the faster your brain adapts. In studies, most people required about 7-10 days to start naturally favoring the left side. That's 1 week. 1 week to unlearn a lifetime of silent strain. And here's what you might begin to notice within that time: waking up clearer. Less pressure in your chest, a pulse that feels steadier, a breath that feels deeper, digestion that feels easier. You might not be able to pinpoint the difference immediately, but your body will. It always knows when stress has been lifted. And once your system experiences the contrast, it will start choosing the better path without resistance. But don't stop with yourself. Share this knowledge. If you sleep with a partner, talk to them about left side sleeping. They may benefit too, especially if they suffer from acid reflux, sleep apnea, or nighttime restlessness. You're not just changing your own habits, you could be changing theirs too, and creating a ripple effect of better mornings, stronger hearts, and quieter nights. The final step in building this new habit is to stay consistent even when you travel. Bring a travel-sized pillow if needed. Arrange the hotel bed to match your setup at home. Continuity builds lasting change. Disruption breaks it. Your body thrives on rhythm, and the more you respect that, the more it will reward you. It's easy to dismiss this all as minor, to think how much can one sleeping position really matter. But think of it this way: if you sleep for 8 hours a night, that's 1/3 of your life. 1/3. If you live to 90, that's 30 years spent lying down. 30 years of pressure, 30 years of circulation patterns, 30 years of subtle muscle memory and gravity interacting with your organs. If the wrong posture introduces even a small strain each night, the cumulative effect is massive. But so is the potential for healing if you choose differently. And that's the key. You have a choice. You always have. Even now, after 50, after 60, after 70, your body may have grown older, but it hasn't stopped listening. It hasn't stopped responding. You don't need permission to heal. You just need awareness, intention, and a willingness to try something new. You've spent most of your life putting others first, following routines that made everyone else comfortable. But this change, this small personal shift, it's for you, and it just might be one of the most powerful acts of self-care you've ever committed to. In Fan 4, we'll talk about the red flags you should never ignore, how to know when sleep posture alone isn't enough, and how to distinguish between harmless sleep discomfort and serious heart-related warning signs that require immediate attention. Because listening to your body doesn't stop when the sun rises, it starts the moment you wake up. By now you understand how your sleep position, something you likely never questioned, can either nourish or silently burden your heart, your lungs, your digestion, and your mind. But here's the most critical part. While left-side sleeping brings major benefits, it's not a miracle solution, and it's certainly not a substitute for deeper listening. Because there are some signals your body gives you that no posture can fix alone, signals that demand action, not adaptation. And if you've reached the age where health feels more fragile, more unpredictable, or more mysterious, ignoring those signals could cost you far more than a few restless nights. Start with the most subtle and yet most misunderstood: waking up multiple times at night, gasping for air, or with a racing heart. Many people over 50 brush this off as anxiety or aging, or even just a bad dream. But it may be much more than that. It could be a sign of sleep apnea, a condition where your airway collapses during sleep, cutting off oxygen and forcing your heart to kick into overdrive to compensate. And here's where posture plays a role back. Sleeping dramatically increases the likelihood of apnea episodes because gravity pulls your tongue and soft tissues backward. While left-side sleeping reduces this risk, it won't treat apnea if it's already entrenched. If your partner notices you snore loudly or stop breathing for brief periods, or if you wake up with dry mouth, headaches, or confusion, you need to speak to your doctor. This isn't something to monitor. It's something to address. Next, frequent urination at night. Getting up once may be normal, But if you're waking 2, 3, 4 times a night to use the restroom, and especially if you also notice swelling in your ankles or shortness of breath, when lying flat, you may be dealing with congestive heart failure, a condition where your heart can't pump efficiently, causing fluid to back up in your lungs and lower extremities. This fluid redistributes when you lie down, triggering your kidneys to excrete more urine. Again, sleep posture may influence your symptoms. Lying on your right side can worsen circulation, but it can't resolve an already failing system. If you've noticed increased fatigue, persistent coughing, or weight gain from fluid retention, don't wait. Your heart may be whispering louder than you think. Now let's talk about the warning signs that show up not during sleep, but right after. Do you wake up with tightness in your chest? Do your first few breaths feel shallow or strained? Does your pulse feel irregular when you sit up? These aren't just aging quirks, they're red flags, especially if they come on suddenly, worsen over days, or are accompanied by dizziness, nausea, or pain radiating to the jaw or arm. If any of these symptoms persist even mildly, don't convince yourself to wait it out. Go. Be seen. Let a doctor tell you it's nothing. Don't assume it's nothing on your own. Because the truth is, heart-related symptoms in older adults are often quiet, nonspecific, and easy to rationalize. You might say, I didn't sleep well, or I had too much salt, or I'm just tired from yesterday. And while those may be true, they may also be cover stories your brain tells you to avoid facing something deeper, something scarier. But fear doesn't protect you, action does, especially when the consequences of ignoring your body become permanent. And yet this isn't a message of fear. It's a call to empowerment. Because here's the beautiful irony, the very act of listening to your body, really listening, makes you more likely to stay well, to catch things early, to choose rest when you need it, to move when your joints stiffen, to eat when you're hungry and stop when you're full, and yes, to lie down in a way that supports, not fights, your anatomy. So let's return to the heart, because everything comes back to it. This small, tireless organ beats roughly 100,000 times a day. That's over 36 million beats per year. And by the time you turn 70, your heart will have beaten more than 2.5 billion times. Think about that. A machine that never stops, never complains, never asks for a break, until it has no choice but to speak up. And often that voice is your morning fatigue, your racing pulse, your restless sleep. Not punishment, not failure, just communication. And you get to decide whether to listen or to wait until the volume gets louder. But what if you didn't wait? What if you began tonight to turn toward your heart with compassion, not just through medication or exercise or diets, but through the smallest act of all, positioning your body to reduce its burden, allowing it to rest without fighting? You've now learned that sleeping on your left side isn't just about comfort. It's about alignment, about gravity, about giving your organs the space to function the way they're meant to. And once you feel the difference, once you experience the clarity, calm, and energy that comes from truly restorative sleep, you'll never want to go back. And still, one more thing matters, Grace. This isn't about perfection. You will roll onto your back sometimes. You will forget. You will wake up on your right, and that's okay. The goal isn't to become rigid, it's to become aware, to make left side sleeping your default, not your rule. Because healing doesn't happen from control. It happens from kindness, from showing up for your body every day with the humility to say, I'm learning, I'm listening, I'm willing. So tonight, when you lay your head down, pause for a moment, feel the pull of your old habits, feel the gravity of your routine, and then gently, deliberately roll to your left. Arrange your pillow, hug your support cushion, breathe deeply into your belly, and listen not just with your ears, but with your chest, your breath, your pulse. You may find in that stillness a quiet kind of peace you haven't felt in years, a sense that your body, after decades of service, is finally being cared for in the simplest, most powerful way, through rest that restores instead of strains. Because your health doesn't begin at your next appointment, it begins in your bedroom, on your mattress, in the position you choose every night without thinking. And now you have the choice to think, to act, to shift, and to change the rhythm of your heart one night, one breath, one side at a time.